Tired of feeling like you're spinning all the plates in your design business and at any moment they could all come crashing down? Are you feeling like you're so close to breaking through to the next level, but those consistent projects still aren't flowing your way? Are you ready to finally take your business from a hobby to 100K and beyond? Then welcome to the SixFigure Designer Podcast. I'm talking all the techniques you need in your design business to start paying yourself, get great clients, and finally break through that 5-figure ceiling. Fear of the unknown. Wow, that has stopped many of us in our tracks in terms of trying something new. And I've talked to so many of you who want to start incorporating wholesale purchasing in your businesses. And you are really afraid to take that first step because you don't know everything that's involved in it. You don't know all the steps in the process. And you're really, really worried that you're going to make a huge mistake, which financially could be devastating. And I totally get it. But today I'm going to be talking about how you can kick that fear of markup and taxes. So I don't know if you've heard the story, but I've been interviewed on a few podcasts and people have asked me how I got started in the business. And while I don't recommend this is definitely a story that I want to share with you, which is I was working for another company and was not super happy there, but I had a new baby at the time. And so I was back at work doing my thing and it really wasn't working out great. And unfortunately, one day I came into work and I kind of snapped and I had it and I ended up quitting that day. Now, this was not in my plan. This was not something I had thought I was going to be doing. I don't recommend you do this in any of your lives, but the reason I'm telling you this story is because I was thrown into starting my own business. It just happened to me, right? And I had to figure it out. I had absolutely no choice. And I did that and I did okay. But, literally looking back, I stumbled through the first 10 years of my business. And I don't want you to do that as well. Before the age of coaching and having access to online sources like Facebook and things like that, that just even wasn't a thing back when I was starting out, which we won't discuss how long ago that was. But so we didn't have any of those available to us. I wasn't able to go on a Facebook group and ask a question about what I should be charging or how to handle purchasing. And I know a lot of you are doing that because I'm seeing that currently in a lot of the Facebook groups. But my first question to you is, do you want to be crowdsourcing your livelihood? And I hope the answer to that is no. There are so many available resources nowadays. And I think that crowdsourcing running your business is maybe not the best approach. And so many of the designers that I talk to are really wanting to incorporate wholesale purchasing in their business, but they're just afraid. They're afraid of how to do it. They don't know the steps. They're afraid of sales tax. They're afraid of what the markup should be. They're afraid of losing money, afraid of all the details that need to be managed. And yes, there are a lot of details. I will say that that is one of the things that needs the most attention is just paying attention to the details of ordering and then tracking for sure. But 2023 was it was my best year ever. So I've been in business, in my own business since 2000. So 24 years. I've been a designer over 30 years. So I've seen a few things. I've built a business from the ground up and I've incorporated a lot of purchases. In the beginning, I didn't want to do it. I came from a commercial background and that just wasn't how we worked in commercial design. And I did not want to incorporate purchases. But one thing that I have learned over the years is that there are certain techniques that when you include purchases in your business really are an incredible source of profit. And it's also a great way to service your clients more completely. But two of the biggest themes that keep coming up from other designers that I talk to is the fear of markup, like what they should be marking things up, and the fear of sales tax, collecting sales tax and then paying sales tax. And I'm going to address a couple of those today. So, sales tax is easy. Sales tax, if you think of collecting sales tax as this is not my money, and you set that money aside, then you'll be fine. Actually, setting up a resale account, also extremely easy. If you go to your state's website, wherever you're living, and you type in resale certificate, I'm going to say 9 times out of 10, you can apply for that online. I did that in my business in Florida back when, 15 years ago. So that should all be pretty readily available. It's an easy process. It's something that happens relatively quickly. So getting the resale certificate is really actually very easy. The other thing is you need to be set up in your software, your accounting software package. And I do recommend that you have an accounting software package and not spreadsheets to be running your business. That is going to track and manage all that sales tax for you so that you know what you will owe when the time comes due. Sometimes you would pay the sales tax quarterly, and depending on how your state's set up, you might be paying that monthly. But it's a super easy process. And if you have a tracking software, that makes that so much easier for you. Now, when it comes to, buying wholesale, of course, you're going to have that resale certificate is one of the first things they're going to be asking for. So you're definitely going to need to get that set up. And like I mentioned, when you purchase wholesale and resell that to your clients, that can be an incredible source of income, but you have to approach it the right way. So markups are great when you know what you need to be marking things up. There's a couple factors that you need to be aware of when you start dealing with markups. One of the things is you need to know what items that you're selling have the most profitability. So you want to be looking at what can I make the most money on? And there's certain categories that are easier for marking things up. Anything that's custom is way easier because it can't be shopped. So that is one thing to be thinking about. And then you also have to be determining what your minimum markup should be. And I know that as I talk to so many designers, they are not marking things up enough. And that's the reason, one of the main reasons why you're not making enough money in your business, because dealing with purchases and managing all of that, that takes a lot of time. And so you need to be having a minimum markup so that you can cover that time and have some profit left over. The third item to consider is when you should be saying no to certain things when it comes to purchases. Purchases that you can't make enough markup on to make it profitable, especially if they're a main portion of the purchasing that you're doing in your business. So you have to be looking at a couple factors when it comes to that. You need to be knowing what your most profitable items are, what your minimum markup should be, and when it's time to say no to handling a certain purchase in your business. So I wanted to let you guys know that I'm running the Purchasing Made Easy Challenge again in just a few weeks. I ran one of those in the fall. We're running that group right now. We're having so many great successes in there and so many aha moments where designers are learning what their markup should be, how they should be handling purchases. And actually, we're going to be talking about what your markup should be in the Purchasing Made Easy Challenge. So if you've been wondering how you should be doing markups in your business, then you want to be getting on the wait list for the challenge that's coming up in a few weeks. So why don't you go ahead and click the link that's in the show notes and you can get signed up for that challenge. And I would love to help you bring some more profitable purchasing or purchasing, wholesale purchasing in your business so then you can make 2024 an amazing year. We'll talk soon. Thanks for listening to the SixFigure Designer Podcast. If you're ready to make six figures in your interior design business, then check out my Design Business Bootcamp. Our next session starts soon, so let's get you to six figures stat.